Hello, everybody. How are you? I named this podcast as days go by because time waits for no one. No matter what we do in life, time continues to go on. And so I am committed to living every day to the fullest of my ability and enjoying as much of life as possible. I don't focus on the negativity in life, the problems in life, the challenges in life, because we all know that they're there. So this podcast is basically my opinion on whatever topic I happen to be talking about on that particular day. So no topic is off limits. I welcome any suggestions. You can just leave a comment on a topic that you would like to hear an opinion about or have a discussion about. I'm totally new to this whole podcast thing, but this is mainly a way to get some things off of my mind that I just either see on a day-to-day or whatever. You know, sometimes we just have so much going on in life that we just gotta let it out. I like to write. I don't feel like writing. So I said, you know what, let me try a podcast and see if I can get other people involved and see if it grows any. So I welcome any suggestions you have, any comments you want to make. You know, everybody is welcome to leave whatever kind of comment you want. You know, this is free thinking in a sense where I'm not here to judge you based off of what you think of a particular topic. We can have a discussion, we can have a debate about it, but I'm not here to judge you for how you think, because we're all different at the end of the day. So for my first episode, I'm going to talk about, it's a video I saw. I don't even remember her name, but it had to do with Cardi B deciding she was going to divorce Offset. This is not, my opinion is not necessarily going to be surrounding those two people, but some of the comments that she made and some of the ideologies that she talked about. This young lady stated that, you know, the whole mantra, you can't turn a whore into a housewife. And because she was a stripper, that kind of relegated her to some type of less than, like she wasn't deserving. She wasn't ready to be married, and assume Offset, the way that he grew up, you know, didn't prepare him to be husband material. And the generalization that she was basing on is strippers are whores and undeserving of being married and totally unintelligent and ill-prepared for marriage, that type of commitment. And men raised in the hood, so she believes men raised in the hood are not marriage material and not worthy. And a lot of her commentary was bashing Black women, saying you're so stupid to think about her song WAP. I'm not a fan of the new hip hop. I listen to some of it I can tolerate, some of it, you know, I like a little bit of it, but I'm not into it like that. But I do know the song that she's talking about with Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, where they're talking about WAP. And I am a sociology major. And so my perspective has a lot to do with how the media portrays people. I know women who have stripped, who, because of her profession, it's assumed that she sleeps around, that she sells her body, that she's less than. First of all, every strip club, every gentleman's club is not the same. Her mindset obviously came from something like, you think of like a Players Club type scene, or a Magic City, those who have been there, you know, where men can freely put their hands and places where some women may be offended who may see that. Yes, there are places like that, but even still, the simple fact that you were a stripper does not make you a hoe. It just does not. Not to me, not in my eyes. There are those who do sell their bodies, and and that's just a fact, and that's okay too. If that's what you choose to do, that's what you choose to do. I also want to say this is a perspective from a woman who is she included in her title that she's a Christian. That's a whole nother thing where religious people put themselves on a pedestal like they're the moral compass for the entire population, which is totally ridiculous. And that made her arguments even more ridiculous to me, because here she is putting down black women and their mindset and their hood mentality, which, mind you, is not the majority of black women, but the majority of what is portrayed on the media, where for me as a sociology major, my perspective, and just anybody, you don't even have to be a sociology major, but just how powerful the media is. How do they portray black women? How do they portray black men? What you see is, they sensationalize all the negatives, but that does not constitute the whole of the population of the black community, period. And it was such a small minded approach that she took, but she was very passionate in her opinion. And here I am, and I'm like, the fact that you're a Christian, knowing my own general experience, I can easily say that there are just as many women that go to church that do the same thing that strippers do that she's talking about in that generalization, but they get to hide behind their titles in church, and they get to hide behind their religion and their faith and the way that they dress. They have the whole facade, but they still do the same thing. But she took the position that as Christian women, you are better than that. You were created to be more than that. And I listened to this whole thing, and I'm just like, wow, it's so unfair to a whole race of women to generalize them in such a way where you think that all black women don't have enough intelligence to see a situation that they don't want and not go there, to be able to listen to a song and take it as strictly entertainment. Just because I enjoy a song, it does not mean that that's what I choose for my lifestyle. I don't become what I listen to. That's ridiculous. If I believed everything that I seen on TV about black men, I would assume that they're dangerous and reckless and hood, just straight from the hood, no ambition. But that is not true. And that's based off of just the men in my family alone. Never mind looking around in the neighborhood. Never mind thinking about the men that I grew up with and where they are now. No. To say that all women, or the majority of women think that their vagina is the key to a successful relationship, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. All I can think of is this woman must be either young or young-minded. It's ridiculous. Even younger women don't have that mindset. Again, the generalizations are coming from what is portrayed in the media and what they want you to see, what you see on the internet. But that's not the majority of black women. It's just not. It's not factual. It's It's ridiculous to me. And I just want people to give men and women a little more credit. Although I'm, like I said, although I'm not a fan of the new, I pretty much cut off rap, hip hop after the mid 2000s, the early 2000s, matter of fact. And I'm more of a 80s, 90s hip hop fan, if I'm going to listen to it, you know. But that doesn't mean that I can just categorize the people that listen to that and just assume that they're taking on the characteristics or they strive to live the lifestyle that these rappers are talking about, the men and the women. It's just unfair, and it's very ignorant. You know, you have so many people that posture themselves because of their faith or because of their education that they don't even take the time to look and see people for who they are. Everybody is different. Everybody is not a sheep. Yes, you do have those who live vicariously or live through the music that they listen to, but that is not the majority of people in society. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But she's not alone in her thinking, and I don't know who all is listening to this, and if it's you that have that same mentality, or you know somebody that has that same mentality, just take a look around. Do you know how many families, how many nuclear black families there are? How many nuclear families there are, period? It's not a black problem. It's not a white problem. You find the same things in every culture, but it's not brought to the forefront, and it's not something that is beneficial to the powers that be to show that nuclear family of other cultures, because it doesn't sell. So just be mindful when you talk to people or when you hear things like this. I wouldn't mind having the discussion with her, but she was so adamant in how she believed. She literally was cussing the existence of black women and their simple-minded nature. It was so crazy to me to hear that. And it's like, why does it have to be black women? Like, why would you just focus on black women? You know, there's all kind of music in all cultures, and, you know, but anyway, she made a whole argument based off of Cardi B's situation, and she generalized a whole community of women because of Cardi B's ideals. Just because Cardi B displays a character, as Offset displays a character, we don't know what happens in their home. We don't know what kind of conversations that they have. You don't know what brought them two together. And it's ridiculous to minimize what they felt for each other because of how you feel about her or him. We as people need to just take a step back. I understand this is a very tumultuous time in society right now, but we just need to take a breath. Take a breath, because we cannot afford to be. We as individuals cannot afford to be so judgmental of people and in our perspectives, because if somebody generalized you and put you in a box that totally didn't represent the totality of who you were, you would be pissed. I would be pissed. I'm a person that stays to myself. Not many people know me at all. That's family included. But that's how I live my life. So when you don't share so much of yourself, people make things up anyway, based off of assumptions. Oh, well, she must. It can't be this because, And they have no idea. I don't want people to look at me and just put me in a box and just try to read me, and you have no idea of who I am. You haven't had a conversation with me. You have no basis in your opinion, as a matter of fact. But we just can't get so caught up in our own ideas that we can't hear and see people for who they are and see them beyond where they are. Because people only show you what they want you to see, and it's not all encompassing. You think about Robin Williams. People couldn't understand, how could he take his own life because he appeared to always be happy. And people made the wrong assumption. Obviously, he was tortured and miserable. For you to go through with taking your own life, can you imagine where you are? But what you portray to everybody is something totally different. Can we just really think about that sometimes? Even if you don't agree with people, we're not always going to agree on everything. And that's unrealistic to expect such a thing. But on this particular topic, that this young lady decided to scrutinize a whole culture of women, is totally unfair. And don't generalize a person because of their occupation, because you don't know that person. You don't know what type of establishment they worked in. You can see the same thing on any beach in America that you will see in a strip club. It's just the place that makes it perverted in some people's eyes. People do it on Instagram all day long. But that doesn't mean that they are having sexual relationships with every dude that comes in their space. That's unfair. Do you have to agree with how somebody chooses to make their money? You don't have to agree with that. People probably wouldn't even want to do my job. And I probably wouldn't want to do theirs. And that's okay. It's okay to not agree with somebody's personal choice. But when it comes to marrying somebody, where you came from, I think is so irrelevant. It's more of your mindset and your mental capacity and what you are looking to get out of that union. Because people get married for different reasons, and it's not the same for everybody. And that's okay too. Because when it comes down to it, marriage is a contract between those two people. And whatever discussions they had before they signed that contract, that's between them. Every marriage is not the same. Every marriage is not founded on the same basis. But I just really have a whole problem with how she generalized so many women because of how she felt about Cardi B's prior occupation. Never mind that she became a successful businesswoman from where she started. Never mind that. Please. How many rags and riches stories have you heard? Why can't she be one of them and you just appreciate her hustle? But anyway, I don't know. That's just how I felt about this particular topic. Like I said, just leave a comment below. I hope that you enjoy this podcast. Like I said, I'm just starting, looking to, improve. I take suggestions. But in the meantime, till the next time, take care. and enjoy every day as the days go by.